President. As indicated earlier, the opposition supports this motion. I should indicate that the Shadow Minister for Transport, Gladys Berejiklian, in the other House has also moved a similar motion. The opposition have serious concerns in the way the government has dealt with this matter. This is another example of how this Labor government, in its usually haphazard fashion, without any consultation, any real consultation, without any prior warning, without any consideration of continued process, simply changes the timetables or routes of its buses, ferries or rail services to simply suit them. Forget the residents of New South Wales. As long as it suits the government and the bureaucrats, it's all they care about. What we had here, Mr President, on 26th of April 2009, this government introduced changes to the 311 service without in any way taking into account the real needs of the local residents. The government couldn't care less about these residents, and they've made that very clear today by actually opposing this motion. We've been made aware by the former Speaker that the 311 bus service was the only bus service available to the many residents of Elizabeth Bay and Woolloomooloo for their access to the city, Circular Quay and Central. Potts Point residents also rely on this 311 service. More than 14,000 residents reside in the area. Almost 18% of these residents are over 65 years of age. Tourists to our city rely on this service. I really can't understand how this government, in such an arbitrary matter, simply changes a long-term bus route, which, as we've heard, removes one loop completely and terminates at Graham Street instead of Circular Quay. And really, where is Minister David Campbell in all of this? Why has he allowed this to happen? But worse still, after a commitment he's given to these residents, he still does nothing. And worse still again, Mr President, we turn around and have this government now opposing this motion in complete disregard of any commitment that was given earlier. We have to remember this is an area where many residents, in particular the elderly, do not own or drive a motor vehicle. There is a clear shortage of street parking. In any event, in this day and age where the government should be encouraging public transport for travel to the city, what do here? The exact opposite. The opposite. They make it virtually impossible for a large number of residents to have any access whatsoever into the city. Many of the residents rely on this only form of access for shopping, for their food, attending doctors or hospitals, staying in contact with family and friends. We've heard that one of the claims by the State Transit Authority, and this is really a gem, Mr President, is that the new wheelchair accessible buses are too low and they won't fit around the loop. So what do? Instead of trying to resolve the problem, just simply eliminate it completely by eliminating the bus route, by taking a large section of the bus route out, and that solves it. So instead of solving the problem, they do nothing at all and they make it worse. So in their view, it's better to have no bus at all than to have a bus that would have been accessible to these residents. This is the way the government handles these issues. They just won't properly attend to it. They couldn't care less to find a solution. Now, we've got to remember this is the same government that managed to waste over $100 million on a T-card fiasco, but we can't offer a bus service to these residents. I mean, it's just a joke at the end of the day. The situation's occurred not only for the 311 bus route, but it's occurring all throughout New South Wales and other transport areas. This is an area that can be remedied immediately. The government should not oppose the motion, it should support it. And to turn around and blame the Sydney City Council as the cause of all of the woes is a joke. It's the government's responsibility to take care of transport. Please do it for the sake of these residents.